Hey everybody, I am here. My name is Deidre. I am a digital marketer right now, creator of content, and I just wanted to share my story for a minute, maybe a little more than a minute. Uh, when I was younger, my senior year in high school, I lost my mom, and so then I got married a few years later and was only married for about 4 years, so I became a single mom of three, all under four. And I've had many jobs over and over the past all those years until even still. It wasn't ever because of anything bad. It's just I was always trying to do better, get better benefits or better pay, and just circumstances sometimes caused me to do that. So I also have tried different side hustles. I've done like Creative Memories, a scrapbooking company, and Heritage Makers is another one. I did Mitchie bags. I even sold adult novelties. And that is probably the only thing that actually made me money during that time. But one of the struggles I've always had over the years is being very insecure of myself and just I have learning disabilities, comprehension issues, and later I learned that I struggle with executive functioning, which is a set of mental skills that help you plan and organize and carry out tasks. These are all things I struggle even still. But it also has issues, well, not has issues, but has you to have the ability to adapt to new situations or solve problems. And I always explained my way of this, and I didn't even know it even was a thing. But I always explained it as I could think with my brain and my heart, but I always made decisions based on my heart. And that is not always the best thing to do. Hence the next part of my story, January of 2017. Worst day of my life. Had originally, a few weeks before then, met a guy online, allowed them to come live in my home with my children and the safe place of our home. He was on drugs. I was unaware of this. I did know that he had been on drugs before, but not anything like this, just smoking marijuana. But he ended up being gone for a couple of days, and then he came back and he was just like he was unhinged. I didn't know what was going on. I thought he was just mental and had some problems. So called the police. The police came. At the time, I did not know that they had to have a warrant to get into your house to look. I should have known this. I was old enough to know that, but I didn't. But I didn't have anything for them. Like, I wasn't hiding anything. So I was like, yeah, go ahead. So they came in and went to my bedroom. They pulled up the mattress, pulled out a barber bag. It was full of paraphernalia and even had something ready to go. I was sick to my stomach, and I had never in my life thought something like this would happen. And I literally was trying to do something nice for somebody and I got screwed. But it was my fault in my decision making, and I know that. But it still sucked. And it has caused me pain throughout the years to the day. But I have also ended up having payday loans, and I owed a phone company lots of money because he had stole a bunch of phones that I had, and things like that. I actually got to pay that phone company off recently. This past year I did. But one of the things that has always stayed constant in my life is my faith, and that would be something God has always been watching over me, and I know that because I have been through stuff that I shouldn't still be here probably. I mean, I could have been in prison or dead during that dark time in my life, but my faith has always been here, and it's constant, and God has always been there for me and my family. I recently, the past year, have finally found a church of like-minded believers that is a loving, open community, and that is Weatherly Heights. And when my kids were in high school, their dad and I did better at co-parenting as much as we could, and I received the best job ever that I had and that was at Toyota Motors Manufacturing in 2020. And it was December, and then by that following June, I ended up as a Toyota employee. I started off as a temp employee for a company, and it usually took a long time to be able to get that, but I had been there 6 months and got promoted to be a Toyota employee. But the president at that time, they ended up deciding to just allow everybody that was a temp employee with that company to just move over and become a Toyota employee. And it was just like a huge rollover. But anyway, that was from 2020 until April of 2023. I left. I had lost my best friend and the love of my life in February of that year. Had just some difficulties, but also I had an engine fall on my hand in prior years. I believe it was August of 2021. And I just had a lot of health issues after that. Off and on, there were just different things that happened. So I decided to take a position at a daycare and move to Tennessee. They had reached out to me through, I can't even remember, it was I think it was Indeed actually. But anyway, I came to find out after I'd already been there working, the Alabama background came back later, and it ended up saying that I was on a list of the state. I don't really know what to call that list, other than the fact that anybody that's ever involved with, I don't know what you would really call it. We call it in Alabama DHR, just the Department of Human Resources, like any type of child services, I guess. And since the kids were put in a safety plan for that situation that they were in, that's the reason why I was on it. I never got charged with any type of child abuse or neglect or anything like that, but because it was seen that there was a possibility, then I got put on that list. And so therefore that came up in the background, and so I lost that job. I literally had to leave right outside of the office. I wasn't even able to go back to the room and say bye to any of the kids. I'm going to try not to cry. But, so yes, so a lot of things in life that happen to you, everything in life that happens to you, every decision you make always has consequences, good and bad. And sometimes things can just stay with you for a long time. Hence what happened with me. And I have tried since doing different things, side hustles. My sister actually introduced me to a lady that's on Instagram. She was telling me about this woman that is making money online, and I'm thinking, what? How in the world does that work? I was like, no, that's just crazy. But anyway, I started following her, and I decided to take the 7-day training that they offered, and it was with a company called Other Life. They're still around. It's not like they're not here. And that lady's name is Ajama. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. I hope so. She's awesome. I loved her. And I've learned a lot of information from that woman. It's very encouraging, straightforward, and she's been very successful. So that thing that they teach is called Ghost Commerce. Sorry if I keep looking down. I have my dog Ruby, which is